Hi, I'm Dave, welcome to the channel. It's been a while, but today's a good day because today is a new Revoslot day. And there's bonus Haribos from Pendle. So yes, before we get to this box, of which you can probably tell from the corner, and you'll have seen the thumbnail and the title of the video, so I don't know why I'm holding you in suspense here, but I'm going to anyway. Indulge me, because this is far more important. Now, I ordered this from Pendle. I'd actually managed to order it before they put it up on their Facebook page, because I happened to see it was just added to the website. And it turned up the next day, as these things always do from Pendle, which is excellent. And that actually is a week or two ago now by the time you're seeing this video. However, it also came with these, which will have been gone by the time you see this video. Now, if you've been on this channel for a while, you'll know I have at times candy shamed Pendle for not sending me sweets. You know, Slot Car Union send me sweets, Magnetic Racing send everybody sweets. You get sweets from all sorts of places, but I've had to almost coerce Pendle over time into sending me sweets and candy shame them. But now, come on, personalised sweets and their Haribo Star Mix. They've really upped the game on the candy here. Nice one, Pendle. Got some catching up to do, Dennis. Probably got some catching up to do as well, Ian and Doug. I'm going to say that because it means they'll send me more sweets. And everybody likes contributing to my dental bill. Excellent. So yes, the box, the new Revoslot. So let me pop this out of here, and it will not surprise you to know that this is the new Mazda RX-7. Now I shall put it on the turntable and have a little chat about it with you in a minute, but this is something I wanted to point out. Not Pendle's fault, but it is Revoslot's fault. Didn't stick that on very well, did they? So I've lost a wheel centre. It's in the box, but I'm going to have to glue it in, and I might go around and check the others to make sure they're not going to fall out as well. So that's that. The other thing that's in this box, other than of course, you know, the magnet and the spare guide that you always get, and 2 stickers that you always get, is curiously 2 bags of door mirrors. So you can put a set on, have them smashed off, and still have another set at some point, or you could just not put any on and have 2 sets. Okay, fair enough. And of course, the bit of paper here. So there is a Mazda RX-7, this one, Daytona 24-hour 1979. We'll get onto that in a bit. Number 77. There's a sister car to it, which is also Daytona 24-hour 1979, which is the green one with number 7 on it. And then there is a IMSA GTU Championship winning car, which is a different body type. It's much wider. It's got, you know, boxed arches and so on. Akai livery, number 7. And there's a box set of the 2 Daytona cars. If you don't like these liveries, doesn't matter. Before the end of the year, there's going to be 3 more liveries of the RX-7. And they look quite nice as well. So don't rush if you don't like these. Take your time. It's Revoslot. There'll be 3 more along in a few weeks' time. Right, I'll stick that back in, and we'll go around to the turntable and have a chat about this car. So what we have here is a Mazda RX-7 GTU from 1979, which was raced at the Daytona 24-hour race. Now, in 1979, Mazda released the RX-7 to the US market and pretty much immediately built 2 race spec cars and entered them into the Daytona 24-hour race. they qualified 3rd and 4th in their class, which was the GTU class, which is like a secondary class to the GT Championship, if you like. So these were generally smaller engine cars. However, throughout the race, Japanese reliability, I guess, being what it is, they did really well. And they actually finished 1st and 2nd in class and 3rd and 4th overall. Now that in itself is a staggering achievement for a debut of a pair of race cars at an endurance race. And that is why this car and its green sister car are kind of important in motorsport history, and especially in North American motorsport history. As you can see, it's a Revoslot, so it's a beautifully turned out car. The paint is, as always, flawless. All of the decals are as crisp as you could ever want them to be. Still slightly strange with those interiors. It's a little bit boxing glove with the hands on the driver. Other than that, the interior is, you know, a half flooded cockpit. Average detail in there. Nice little red painted fire extinguisher. I really quite like the mesh on the driver's door or on the driver's window. And little details like, you know, the lights on the front bumper, the extra ones for the 24-hour race. The detail in and around the bolt-on extended wheel arches. You can see all the little bolt holes. It's really very, very exquisitely detailed indeed. Top marks, Revoslot, on this one. And I really like the design of the wheels as well. Okay, so as I say, nice car overall. Let's have a look at it a bit more in technical terms. Now, first thing of note, there's a couple of things under here of note. First of which is they've started writing Revoslot on their motor labels. It's still 21,000 RPM and 200 gram centimetres. But they're putting Revoslot on it now. Whether these are a different motor or whether they're really just the same motor with a different label, at this moment in time, I don't know. The spec seems to be the same, so we have to assume it's just a label, I guess. And the other thing of note here, let me bring this in a bit closer. Those of you that are used to a Revoslot with motor screws that are these square-headed ones that notoriously are soft as cheese and terrible. Now, I don't know if these are any better, but they're different. These are more dome-headed. And I've tried 1.5 hex in them, and it's a snug fit, but they do appear to be made of slightly better stuff. So it looks like Revoslot have listened and they've made a change. Whether that's a change for the better or a change for just about the same, only time will tell. In terms of how it's set up out the box, I mean, you know, that's fine. These rear wheels do seem to be rubbing slightly on the arches. The gear mesh doesn't seem too bad. Now, it's fairly easy to sort out the rubbing on the arches because you just tighten these front screws up a little bit because they're very loose. That'll pull the front of the chassis down, which will pull the wheels away. There we are. A little bit. I think the gear mesh is okay. It might be a little bit loose, but you know, I'll do the usual. Go around everything, check it's tight, adjust things before I put it on the track. Now, looking at this chassis and these wheels, I don't really know what class in terms of Revoslots this car fits into, because if I look at it from underneath, it's not drilled for a Carrera chip or anything, and it has this fairly familiar looking 3-bolt 2-piece chassis, and that is consistent pretty much with the 2-litre class. Now, you know, 3 bolts, 2-part chassis like this, not drilled, and so on. However, all of these cars in this class up to now, the Escort, the BMW, the Opel Kadett, the Alfa, all have broadly the same setup, and this chassis is, the back part is pretty common to all of them, and it's mostly the front part, the shape changes and so on. This is very different because this one has a much longer chassis overall. I mean, this one stops here, look, there's quite a lot of chassis difference, and it has a set of hips that come out here and here. Now, whether this is just to accommodate this kind of narrow undercut of the body shell, or whether this is part of something else that's new that goes along with the sticker and the bolts and everything, I don't know. But I'm confused by this car because every single one of these 2-litre cars has the same wheels and the same tyres and different wheel centres. Now, if I move on to one of these, which is the big GT class, of which there are various cars, these are pre-drilled. They have a 2-bolt setup, and generally the inside and the outside are, you know, bolted thus, rather than this 2 in the front, 2 in the back arrangement. So, and these have bigger wheels and different wheels, and they're generally all about this size, apart from the Marcos. However, while this car is the same chassis format as this car, it's got completely different sized wheels. So it's not really in this class if you're racing them in a club, and it's not really in this class either. So the question, Revoslot, is, you know, you see people and they run 2 distinct classes of Revoslots. Which one's this supposed to go in? Because it doesn't seem like either to me. So, taking a look inside the car, it's the usual lightweight interior. That's fine. This has black rubber pieces on the posts all the way around. Usually, especially with the 2-litre class, you get black on the front and red on the back just to lift it slightly. That might be why these rear wheels are, or were, rubbing a little bit there. Having looked at the motor, it is just a new label. I think the motor is identical other than that. And it has a different size set of rear wheels to the 2-litre class. So I am still very, very confused as to which class this car is supposed to run in other than a class of its own. And I've looked at the future releases up to the end of the year from Revoslot, and I can't see anything else other than more RX-7s that are going to appear that would possibly be the same new format of in-betweeny class as this one is. So I don't really know. The other thing of note with this car is it's very, very loose and rattly. I definitely might have to do the little trick of taking these out and putting some vinyl washers in just to quieten it down a bit. But as it stands, it is what it is. I'll pop a little bit of oil on there. I have no idea if the rear is binding or not, so I'll loosen these off and just check that it isn't. And I might just try these bolts and then report back just to see if they are. Actually, no, let's do it now. Let's just see if they are made of cheese or not. They're really very good. I think Revoslot have listened. Yeah, they're a good snug fit for a 1.5. And these are done up pretty tight. tight enough that they click when I undo them. And I can yeah, I don't feel like they're going to strip out at all. Well done, Revoslot. Nice one. Right, I'll oil this up and we'll go and try it on the track. So you're thinking, hang on Dave, I thought you were going to the track. Well, I did go to the track. Now I'm back on the bench because as I was just adjusting the braids, this poorly attached thing just fell out. Been jammed in, not fitted well. The other problem with this is that, and you won't be able to see it, but the gear mesh at that point, if I turn this 180 degrees, is much tighter than the gear mesh at that point. This slightly strange 27 tooth gear is egg-shaped. Now, some people have had Revoslot problems with egg-shaped gears. I've heard of this, but personally I've not experienced it before. So this is my first one. So I think the combination of that being loose, having to glue that wheel centre back in, and an egg-shaped gear, I think I might have got a Friday afternoon car. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that this is all Revoslot RX7s, but I think I've just been a bit unlucky with this one. So as a result of that, it's a bit noisy and whirry, so I'm just going to take it apart and do all those things I do and try and quieten it right down like I did in the over-the-top Revoslot tuning video, for which there will be a link up there somewhere. So I will go to the track after I've done quite a lot of work to this car. Okay, so I gave up trying to make that gear round and replaced it with one out of another Revoslot. We'll sort out about getting a replacement after this. So let's see how this car runs on the track. Oops. There's an oops. Well, that car, as I'm sure you could or rather couldn't hear, is incredibly smooth. And, I mean, I did take the rattle out of it by putting some vinyl washers underneath those rattle bolts, like I did when I did the big over-the-top tune, which has quietened it down more than it would have been otherwise. I set the mesh on a gear that was worn in anyway, because I'd worn it in on the Datsun 510, and it was nice and quiet and smooth. Car is really very predictable. I'm already just about into the sub 6 second bracket. Bit more fun with that. I mean, I've only done a dozen laps, and the first few of those were just to get the feel of it. So I like this car. It's very stable. It's not, doesn't seem to like it too much with the tail out. It's not like the Escorts or anything like that, but keep the wheels nicely in line, drive it smoothly and carefully, and I think there's a good lap in this car, even really with relatively minor amounts of tuning. Very good indeed. So here we are back at the turntable again. Now, after driving that car for a while, I managed to get it down to a 5.4 second lap. Conditions are not ideal for fast laps, so I think it will probably go down to a 5.3. It's an odd car in that it doesn't drive the same as the Group 2 cars. It just doesn't. It feels, I know feels is an odd thing because we're connected by electricity, but it feels like a bigger, heavier car to drive than one of those. It's definitely geared differently because it's got a different rolling radius on the tyres on the back. And centre of gravity is different. It doesn't handle like a Group 2 car, but it also doesn't handle like all of the, for want of a better word, bigger Revoslots. So I'm still confused as to what class this car should go in. I think it's a great car. I think it drives brilliantly. I love the fact that Revoslot are bringing Japanese cars into the more mainstream of slot car racing. All of that stuff. But come on, Revoslot. I need something to race it against. I really do. Other things to tell you about. Well, having failed to get that gear to go round at all. I mean, it's just... I think the centre is mounted off-centre on it. It's never, ever going to be round. So I emailed Pendle and said, this is not great. It's out of round. I can't do anything about it. I've tried. You haven't got any replacement gears in stock at the moment. What do you suggest I do? And Pendle said, no problem at all, Dave. What we'll do is we'll get another car out of stock, pull the gear off that, send it to you. And when we get stock of gears in, we'll put a gear back on that car and put it back into stock again. So, brilliant customer service there from Pendle. As I say, it's a great car. I think you should get one. If you don't like these liveries, a couple of months, maybe not even that, there'll be some more out. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch one of my videos. If you liked it, you will find a button specifically for that. Please subscribe to the channel, it's free and it really does help. And if you hit the bell, you'll get a notification the next time I post a video.